there was a couple of moments that I had when I stopped drinking alcohol, a couple of really big eye openers, or there were things that I had seen in myself or in that journey that just really stabilized things and made me know that I was on the right path. I'm not talking about the benefits, right? There's so many benefits that you get in the early months. You're thinking clearer, you're relaxing better, you're sleeping better, all of those things. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about things that happened to me generally while I was out walking. So these two moments were both when I was out walking. And the first one was I felt like a burden had been lifted from my shoulders. This huge weight had been lifted off my shoulders. And it was that weight that I'd been carrying around with me over the many years that I was a drinker, but I suppose particularly over the last 10 years as a drinker. And it was the weight of the health burden. So you know that you're declining in health because of the drinking. I think it's a similar thing with smoking. You know that you're getting up every morning, you're coughing your guts up, your breathing is not great, and it's a huge burden, I think. So that is lifted, but there is a psychological burden of the inner conflict that you know that you're doing something which is you're putting a toxin into your body on a daily basis, however many times you do it. But there's also you're hiding from that. You're trying to push it down. So there's the conflict. We're ignoring all the advice, all the stuff that is telling us that this stuff is bad for us. And I'm talking about not studies or anything like that. I'm talking about our own experiences. Every time you get a hangover, it says something to you, right? Every time you get a pain in your side, it says something to you. Every time you see an alcoholic outside of yourself, or you see somebody with problems with alcohol, it says something to you. All of these things say something to you about yourself and about your own journey. And we ignore these things, but it's still there underneath in your subconscious mind, and it's still creating a massive conflict, and that puts a weight on your shoulders. And that weight is it's like Marley's ghost in Dickens' Christmas Carol. This chain has been built, the chains that he's carrying around have been built over many, many years, over decades. And that's the same thing that we're carrying around with ourselves, that conflict, that weight on your shoulders, that what you're doing is a fucking stupid thing to do, but we're hiding away from it because none of us likes to think that we are stupid, right? That's the first one. And I remember walking, I remember where I was and just feeling that, thinking about it from that perspective and feeling that weight that had lifted from my shoulders, right? Now, the second one was, again, maybe 6 months after, 7 months after I stopped drinking alcohol. And, you start out this journey with a mixture of doubt. Everyone has to, everyone is going to doubt the journey because you're heading into the unknown, right? You don't know who you are without alcohol. You don't know what your life is like with alcohol. There's so many different things that you don't know how to do with alcohol because you've been living under that delusion for so many years, and that casts so much doubt over your life. One of my biggest roles, I think, as a coach, is to try and quell as much of that doubt as possible and replace it with hope, because hope is the other side of doubt, right? So you've got these. Every time you hope for something, there is also doubt there, because if there's no doubt there, it's certainty. And what one of my roles in the long term is to try and get you to get to that certainty. That, specifically, not in life in general, right? There's no such thing as looking at your future and saying, well, I'm certain about things, but about this one specific thing that you will never ever put alcohol inside your body again. And that's what I'm talking about in that 7th month, 6th or 7th month for me. And again, out walking, and I realized that there is nothing. There is no situation, there is no way, no how. I can't think of one thing that would ever happen to me in my life where I would look at alcohol as being a solution. So now, in that instance, I believe I'm sure, I'm positive that I'm never going to drink again, right? There is always a doubt. You go into the first month of this journey, the second month of this journey, third month, and there is always doubt there about your own capability of doing this, of never drinking again. But it's only when again, it comes down to doing the work. I'm not talking about the work of stopping drinking alcohol, the work on yourself, the work on those parts of your life that you used to drink alcohol in. The relaxations, the sleeping, the problem solving, the escape is a huge one. All of these things need to be solved. These are problems that you have, individual problems that have nothing to do with alcohol, but everything to do with how you function in life, how you cope with life. And these are the things that you need to solve. These are the problems that you need to solve. This is the work that you need to do. Breaking down the old alcohol identity happens in a very natural, organic way when you're working on the other side of the things. So you're working on the parts of your life that are bringing you towards a more holistic person, if you like, solving those problems that I've just mentioned. So once you are solving those things, and it's only by solving those problems that you're able to say to yourself, now I can't think of anything that would happen to me. And I can go to some very deep and dark places, right? When I'm thinking about anything that can happen in my life, people passing away, people so close to you that they pass away that it fucking almost breaks you, right? Even then, there is no way that I would touch alcohol, because I know that it wouldn't solve anything. It would just make things worse. So once you get to that stage, then that is a further burden that is lifted off your shoulder. It's a further reinforcement of the life that you're living, and the reinforcement of not hope anymore, but of certainty that you'll never drink again. So I thought I'd share that one with you today. If you want to dig into any more of this stuff, give me a shout over at habitsv2.com, and let me know if you have any questions that you want covering on the channel. Take care of yourself, and I'll speak to you soon. Onwards and upwards. Bye now.